Hi there. My name is Robert, and today I will be speaking on two pretty influential philosophers, in my opinion, and just discussing on how some major points they've made and some things I have learned from them. First person we're going to be speaking out today is Plato. This man crafted a majorly comprehensive work on how we would make a just society. The main theme of this story he has made, the allegory of the cave, is that the main theme of this is that we humans tend to not understand the true reality of our world. We think that we understand what we are looking at and sensing in our world, but we just really perceive the shadows of the true forms of the things that make up the world, such as us seeing that a horse is literally what us not knowing what a horse is from the point of conception, but then having it turn around that we be told by others that this is a horse or that this is the form of a horse. It is something that we are slowly but surely being brought towards. Another philosopher we'll be talking about would be Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes was the man with the goal to answer the question of what can be known with certainty. By throwing out everything he once believed through a method called radical doubt. Believes, called radical doubt. The key aspect of Rene Descartes' meditation is a phrase entitled cogito ergo sum, translating to I think therefore I am. Following on from the first meditation, Descartes realizes that he cannot question his own existence because he is a thinking thing. Even if he doubts the senses and the body, he cannot doubt himself because of his thoughts. So, why do I believe that these are big ideas or major ideas imperative to your knowledge from philosophers, Rene Descartes and philosopher Plato? Well, I believe that Rene Descartes and Plato both have these ideas that hold viable knowledge and power behind being given the awareness of these ideas or forms or meditations being proclaimed. With Plato, it reminds us that knowledge is imperative to our growth, alongside with a willingness to be open to new experiences during the course of one's growth. Descartes teaches us to cast out this doubt or suspend judgment, if you will, to become closer to the perfect form of a thinking thing. These forms bring us closer, per se, to this idea of one true object or something that is. There are some areas, I will say, throughout Rene Descartes and Plato, that contradict or undermine the views of the other, somehow, some way. Descartes, per se, only focuses on the physical aspect and the spirit of the individual, thinking on the inside, nothing on the outside, and also has his own particular view on God, and that he could per se, since he is this all-willing, all-powerful God, that he could possibly be deceiving us. But it boils down to the innate thought, which is where Plato kind of brought himself. Plato believed that knowledge was innate, recalling information from our past, that we were predestined for this knowledge, that we have already known this, that we just had to open ourselves up to it. one way there is a somewhat of a criticism or disagreement between the two would not really be much of one, except for dealing with dualism, which isn't really a criticism between the two. It's more so another liking a similarity, due to the fact that they both use this form of dualism, which is in metaphysics is the belief that there are two kinds of reality, material and immaterial. Dualism is the position that mind and body are in some categorical way separate from each other. Plato didn't believe in God, but he had a separate idea for perfection, which is the forms, which is another realism entirely. Everything in the realm of the forms is perfect, and we can only get there through logic and reasoning. Descartes, on the other hand, believes in a God, but doesn't really go into detail about what God does. More so that he is this thing that is almighty, all powerful, and just gives us side thoughts on what if he's all powerful, what other possibilities could there be? He explains his reasoning. He explains his reasoning for how God, exists with logic proof, and then breaks that down and says, "Well, what if it doesn't exist?" And then everything we have known would be a lie and would be false, casting out everything we once knew. These two philosophers have most definitely created an influential pact. Not influential pact, but more so an influential moment and foothold within history. And if you are open to it, and you are willing to read more on them and understand more, then you will see that René Descartes and Plato are both rational philosophers that give a just ideal on living.